Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Baseball Player Profiles. Today I want to talk to you about a potential sleeper candidate named Daniel Norris. He's a starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. Daniel Norris is only 23 years old. He will be 24 in April of this year, so this will be his age 24 season. He's a former top prospect. You may have heard about him the last couple of years as a guy who's going to be good. The question is, when's he going to be good? Um, ESPN has him ranked as the 178th pitcher overall, and he is the 119th ranked starting pitcher. Last year's player rater was only .48 in 4x4, and in my custom points league, he only scored 271 points. Um, he had 13 games started, 69 innings pitched. I believe he had one relief appearance. His ERA was 3.38, which is okay. His whip was 1.4, which is not okay. Uh, Interestingly, though, he struck out 71 in 69 innings. Striking out more than a batter per inning as a starting pitcher is awesome. So that's one of the reasons why we're talking about him as a potential sleeper, even though he didn't have great numbers last year. He had 4 wins last year, 4 quality starts in those 4 wins. Um, his home ERA was 3.86. His away ERA was 2.81. Why was he so much better on the road than at home? Let's dive into those numbers a little bit. And it basically comes down to home runs. At home, his home runs per 9 innings was 1.93. He was giving up almost 2 home runs a game in Comerica. And away, 0.56 home runs per 9 innings. Now, he only pitched 70 innings, so his sample size is not huge. Um, we're probably going to see those home run per nines regress to around one home run per nine, which is not elite. It's not amazing, um, but it also is probably a better home run per nine rate than the 178th ranked pitcher. Um, if we look at his splits from the first half to the second half, um, the batting average against him was 304 in the first half. He had a 1.54 whip, and his BABIP was 378 against. He also had 11 K per nine in the first half. So he's striking out a lot of people, but when he was giving up hits, he was giving up a lot. Um, and he also had a 2.08 home run per nine in the first half last year. Second half was a lot better. 259 average against, 1.37 whip, and a .315 BABIP against. His strikeout per nines went down to 8.79, but his home run per nine went down to 1.12. If I had to look at these numbers going forward, I'd say that his second half numbers are going to be more in line with what he'll do this year. So probably, he'll probably end up being the third best starter in the Detroit Tigers rotation. He might be your third or fourth best starter in fantasy, but there's also a lot of upside there. Like I said, he's only 23, going to be 24, and he's made improvements. One of the improvements that you're not going to see in the numbers is that he tweaked his delivery last year, and he also is throwing a harder slider. So his slider used to be 83 miles per hour. Now it's 88 miles an hour, which is a huge difference for a slider. Um, and that's probably why we see those strikeout numbers tick up, especially against lefties. His platoon splits in strikeouts versus lefties last year and righties was he struck out 7.76 righties per nine, which is not terrible for a lefty. And but against lefties, he struck out 13.25 per nine. So 13.25 K per nine against lefties last year, which is pretty elite. Fangraphs is predicting him to go 30 starts this year. But interestingly, only 153 innings in those 30 starts. That doesn't really make any sense. He pitched 155 innings last year. He'll probably pitch closer to 175 innings this year, if not a little bit more. So I don't know where they're getting that projection from. His ERA is projected to be 3.64. Like I said, last year it was 3.38. So, but his x FIP and his FIP was high because probably because of the home runs. So that ERA could be right around that 3.5 mark. I don't think it's outrageous to say it's going to be 3.5. His K per nine, they're predicting him at 8.35, which is a little bit lower than what his second half K per nine was. So I think his K per nine is going to be a little bit higher. I don't think he's going to strike out one batter per inning like he did last year, but he could be close to it. They're predicting him for 7 wins. I don't know why. The Detroit Tigers are in a division with a Kansas City team where we don't know what they're going to do. They could end up imploding by midway through the season because they have so many guys on expiring contracts. The Minnesota Twins are in that division. They're not going to be great this year. Um, the Indians are the class of that division. So I don't see if Daniel Norris starts 30 games this year, I don't see why he's not going to get over 10 wins for the Tigers. They're a good team. He pitches in Comerica, and Comerica was ranked eighth in terms of home runs last year, batter friendly. So he is in a stadium that's more batter friendly for home runs and is a good run scoring environment. Although we take that with a grain of salt, park factors are heavily influenced by the lineup that is in the park, and the Tigers have a great lineup, and it's going to be great again this year. The other thing I want to mention is that not only has his slider increased in speed, his fastball has increased in speed as well, 1.2 miles per hour. So there's a reason why his strikeouts went up last year. There's a reason why his second half was a lot better than his first half last year, and I think he's going to keep making improvements. So Daniel Norris, sleeper. Uh, I would say that he's very underrated in the ESPN player rankings. If you're gonna be, towards the end of the draft and you got to make a decision between Daniel Norris and another pitcher, depending on who the other pitcher is, I'd probably take Daniel Norris because I think the upside there is great. Don't forget this guy was a top prospect. A lot of people expected him to do very well, and he just hasn't reached that potential yet. But he's gonna be 24. Um, not everybody comes right out of the gate as Noah Syndergaard. So, um, yeah, Daniel Norris, sleeper. Feel comfortable drafting him where you're going to draft him. You're not going to be drafting him in the before the 20th round probably in any draft anyway. So green light on him. Recommendation good. Expect him to be a number three pitcher for you this year, and he'll do pretty well if he's healthy. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.